Well, thank you, Attorney General. And as you know, I have discussed with you several times that my belief is when people commit murder here in the United States, commit murder on this scale, they should be prosecuted, and I would hope they'd be convicted. I'm glad to see finally, after all these years, they are being prosecuted. In the same way, Timothy McVeigh, who committed mass murder in this country, was prosecuted. Let me go to another horrific tragedy. We had the murder of 13 individuals, including 12 soldiers, wounding of more than 30 others on the Fort Hood Army base in Texas. And our thoughts and prayers are with these people. And my church on Sunday, they prayed for the families, for those who died, but for the families left behind. And that's why I sent this letter to John Brennan to find out what happened. I want the results of the investigation ordered by the President. Several of us were briefed yesterday morning, Senator Feinstein, Senator Sessions, myself, and others, on what is happening. I think, in fact, I know that you want to find out everything that happened, not only what happened there, but what may have gone right, what may have gone wrong prior to that. We're both former prosecutors. We don't want to compromise a prosecution. What resources is your department using to learn whether steps were missed that could have been taken to avert this tragedy?
Well, the FBI is certainly intimately involved in the investigation and working with the military investigators, the military prosecutors who will ultimately try the case. All of the resources of the Justice Department that have been requested have been made available and will be made available in order to determine exactly what happened at Fort Hood, and also to try to determine how we can prevent future incidents like this from occurring.
Certainly when the court-martial goes on, the evidence will come out. American people will learn, we'll all learn more facts about what happened. I'm mostly interested in knowing if there were things that were overlooked that could have avoided. Will you commit to share with this committee if in your investigation, yours, the Justice Department, you find that there were things that were missed that should have been picked up prior to this tragedy?
The President has directed that we conduct exactly such an inquiry, and it would be our intention to share the results of that inquiry. My only cautionary note would be that we sequence this in such a way so that we do not interfere with the ongoing investigation and the potential prosecution. But clearly, that information needs to be shared with Congress generally and with this committee specifically.
I can assure you, as chairman of this committee, I want a successful prosecution. I also want to know what happened.
Sure.
And I think we can sequence it in such a way that we do not interfere with the prosecution. The members of the Senate, incidentally, your letter supporting the Patriot Act reauthorization bill that we passed from this committee is very helpful, and I appreciate that. We've requested the administration work with us to provide more information on classified issues related to Patriot Act authorities. We first in a letter sent to the Department in June, again this week. I'm saying this rather broadly because of you know the particular classified areas we're looking for. Will the Department schedule a briefing in the coming days so senators can be briefed fully on this prior to the debate on the floor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are working on ways in which we can make available to senators and congressmen who will be asked to vote on the reauthorization of the Patriot Act, and that information will be made available in a way that's consistent with the protection of those very important tools that must remain classified. But that information will be made available.
On the Patriot Act, Senator Sessions and I and others have been working on a manager's amendment to address the few remaining issues in the reported version of the bill. These do not concern operational matters, and I hope that we can circulate that to members of this committee. Are you satisfied that nothing in the bill reported by the committee endangers your ability to use those tools effectively to keep us safe and secure?
Yeah, I'm confident, based on my own examination and my interaction with members of the intelligence community, that, and talking also to FBI Director Mueller, that the reauthorization of those provisions in the way in which it has been proposed will not have any negative impact on our ability to use them in an effective way.
And I think I know the answer to this next one, but would you agree that it's important that we get the bill reauthorized?
It's absolutely important. These are vital tools that we have to have in this fight against those who would do us harm.
Now, when the President first took office in January, I encouraged the Obama administration and the many supporters of a federal shield law to work together to reach consensus. And I congratulate the Department of Justice, in fact, all the shareholders for working together in good faith to reach this consensus. We have a compromise bill that restores important protections that I helped craft to protect bloggers and freelance journalists. Attorney General Holder, in the letter that you and Director of National Intelligence Blair sent to me earlier this week, Admiral Blair, you said that the compromise federal shield bill provides, quote, appropriate protection for national security. Do you support the compromise bill?
I do. I think that it is a better version than that which had previously been considered. There were a number of concessions made with regard to the concerns that I raised, that were raised by the intelligence community, and I think that the bill that we have strikes a good balance. It's a compromise between the concerns that we had in law enforcement and the intelligence side and the legitimate interests, I think, of the media.
Because we have some here, I'm going to try to make sure we stay within the time. My last question is this. I have a lot more questions, but my last one is this. In 2004, Democrats and Republicans worked together to pass the Justice for All Act, try to make our criminal justice system more efficient, effective, and fair. Now, a key component of that was the Debbie Smith Rape Kit Backlog Reduction Act, significant funding for the testing of, or to reduce the backlog of untested rape kits, so that victims don't have to live in fear while these kits languish in storage. I've worked to make sure it's consistently and fully funded. Now, I've been disturbed to learn recently in our hearings that despite the legislation and the hundreds of millions of dollars in funding, substantial backlogs remain in communities around the country, and victims still face inexcusable delays in seeking justice. Found 12,500 untested rape kits in the Los Angeles areas, alone other cities reporting almost as severe. You found in the Justice Department that 18% of open unsolved rape cases, evidence had not even been submitted to a crime lab. Can we work together in your department, find out what went wrong, find out how we get these rape kits tested, how we do it in a way that protects the victims and gives us a chance to prosecute the people who committed the rapes?
Mr. Chairman, I not only pledge that we have to work on this. For every crime that remains unsolved, there is a rapist who is potentially still out there and ready to strike again. The Justice Department looks forward to working with this committee to come up with a way in which we do away with that backlog and fully comply with the intent of what I think was a very good piece of legislation 5 years ago.